Are you an attacker that has a really hard time participating in the press because you're not used to defending? Well, this video is exactly for you. Today we will shed some light into the topic and help you gain clarity on how you can effectively apply a high press with a good success rate. I always like to refer to four of the most important questions when trying to problem solve: what, when, why, and how. So the first thing I want you to understand before we move any further into the topic is the what and the why behind high pressing. High pressing is a zonal defending mechanism used by many modern coaches in football in an attempt to win possession of the ball near or inside the final third to score a goal on a fast attack. There are many terms associated with high pressing tactics, each of which is used to describe a slightly different form of high pressing. So let me offer you a quick overview of the three main pressing strategies. First of all, we have Gegenpressing, which basically translates into counter pressing or countering the counter attack. This is a form of high pressing that has been directly linked to how Liverpool's manager Jurgen Klopp likes to apply pressure. It is a form of pressing that is applied immediately after the possession of the ball is lost by the players that are positioned closer to the ball. The aim of this press is to quickly regain possession of the ball while the opposition is out of balance in order to score a goal on a fast attack. It is worthwhile to mention that the holder of the ball receives really intense and fast pressure. He's basically man-marked. Another form of pressing includes positional pressing, which is a more relaxed yet demanding press. It is mainly executed by the attacking duo or trio with the aim of blocking progressive passing options with smart and precise positioning. As the backline is shifting the ball from side to side in order to find open passing lanes, the opposition, which is applying the press, is patiently waiting for a sloppy pass or a missed touch to go on a fast attack and score. This press is more conservative and less intense as it heavily relies on positioning and football intelligence. We also couldn't forget to mention pressing trap. A pressing trap basically is a hybrid pressing style that is used to force the ball to the weak side of the team, positional pressing, and then apply intense and fast pressure, gegenpressing. Although these styles share some core principles and goals like blocking progressive passing options, forcing the ball to the weak side, and winning the ball back as close to the goal as possible, they do have some distinct differences which make them special. Gaining clarity on all the options you have available and knowing what is the most appropriate one for each scenario is super important to your pressing success. Of course, all the pros also come with their cons. A high pressing strategy requires the whole team to move up. As a result, the distance between the lines may increase while intense pressure is being applied. If the opponent is skilled and smart enough to break your press, there are going to be many open spaces available for them to strike you with a fast attack. By breaking the press, they eliminate the attacking line as a defensive line and now have to deal with a reduced amount of defenders. The defense is out of shape, and on top of that, the opposition may also utilize their numerical advantage against you to drastically increase their goal scoring chances. This is why you need to be careful. You can't be applying pressure for the full 90 minutes. There is a good and a bad time to apply the press, which leads us to the next point of the video. Of course, this can be answered inside a YouTube video because it really is context-based and mainly depends on how your coach wants to structure the team across those 90 minutes. Having said that, there are some principles and tips that may help you get a better feel of when it is a good and a bad time to start a press. You first need to make sure that your team's structure is balanced and organized. Don't even try to start a press if your defensive organization looks messy. The press is a collective effort and it doesn't solely rely on your individual qualities. All it takes is a smart player to recognize the vulnerabilities of your structure and break it into pieces. You usually want to listen to the backline or your coach as a guiding force that organizes the press. Usually, if the team is balanced and ready to press, your coach, one of the center backs, or the goalkeeper will be the ones shouting at you to start the press. They will usually give you the green light that everything is fine on your back and that you can safely start pressing. If you get that message, you now have to communicate with the attacking line. The body language of your teammates will usually tell if they're in the condition to press. If they look tired or tell you to slow down, do not start pressing. If you go up and press as an individual, not only will you be putting your team in a vulnerable spot, but you will also waste valuable energy. High pressing is an intense action. You need to know when it is time to switch on and off. So listen to your teammates, make sure all players are available to press with you through communication and body language, and never start pressing as an individual. The application of a high press requires a series of technical, tactical, physical, and mental skills that not every player possesses. This is also the main obstacle coaches with high pressing philosophy usually face within a team. This can be solved with either good scouting and player recruitment or by instilling some core pressing principles into the team. The latter is a difficult job, but it's well worth the effort and time if you don't have the resources available as a coach. So let's quickly go over some of the core principles and qualities that are needed to structure an effective high pressing strategy. A high press is really demanding and stresses both the body and mind, and that is the reason so many players are not able to apply a high press throughout the whole game. The application of pressure includes short, high-intensity bursts and a lot of changes of direction. This game stress can slowly build up fatigue during the game and therefore make your pressing less effective as we're getting closer to the final whistle. In many cases, this inefficiency can leave many gaps behind and the defense out of shape. As you can understand, a high pressing style requires players to be physically fit and mentally resilient. Both your aerobic and anaerobic capacity needs to be at a high level so that you can press effectively for longer periods of time. On one hand, you need to develop a good anaerobic capacity that doesn't leave you out of breath in those high intensity bursts, and on the other hand, you also need the aerobic capacity to be able to apply intense pressure for the whole 90 minutes of the game. On top of great conditioning, players also need to be fast and agile. These two traits will enable them to cover more distance in less time, making their pressing more efficient, intense, and therefore effective. Fast and agile players can simply move up and press their opponents faster, as well as adapt to passes being played with a faster change of direction. The less time you give your opponents to perceive, process, and act, the higher your success rate is going to be. Simple as that. Since we're talking about zonal defending, it makes sense to highlight the importance of smart positioning. As we've said, a high press aims to block progressive passing options. This can be done by covering your shadow, otherwise known as shadow defending, where you're essentially positioning yourself in such a way that eliminates or minimizes the passing options available in your back. In order to cover your shadow, you obviously need to be aware of what's happening on your back and then adjust your positioning, your run, and your body language. You may think that positioning is the end-all be-all answer to pressing success, but without the proper body language and running direction, it will be easy for your opponents to break your press. Once you know where you want to direct your opponent, you can adjust your body language and curve your run in order to lead your opponent wherever you want them to go. So, be aware of your back, cover space on your blind side to eliminate passing lanes, and force your opponent to the direction or the decision you want them to take with proper body language and by curving your run. Game analysis alone is such an underrated tool for development, not to mention the endless solutions opposition analysis can offer to your game. Investing some time, either before or even during the game, to analyze and profile your opponent can make a huge difference in your gameplay. Break down their game, find the most common patterns they follow, and detect the weaknesses of their game. The least thing you can do is listen to your coach and absorb all the information he or she is feeding you with while you're getting closer to kickoff. Attackers spend limited time in defensive action. This lack of experience can lead to the misconception that defending is always happening at a high intensity. If you're one of those attackers, just stop and understand that defending isn't about pushing the gas pedal all the way down, but utilizing your brakes effectively. Sprinting directly towards your opponent makes you an easy dribbling target. One drag of the ball with a soul and you're out of play. Stop getting overhyped and learn how to manage your emotions to guide your actions. Understand when it is time to put your foot on the gas pedal and when it is time to brake. Gain that relaxed aggression by accelerating quickly and explosively towards your opponent, but also decelerate to keep a balanced distance from them to apply the principles of zonal defending. Don't get me wrong though, a high work rate and high intensities are absolute musts. You just need to be in control of the throttle the whole time and know when to switch on and off. Play with the intensity of your actions. Accelerate and decelerate. Stay balanced and be ready to react. In other words, play with the emotions of your opponents by managing yours properly. Don't let excitement take control of how you press. Just stay relaxed and attack when it is time to shock your opponent. Never give away your intentions and be unpredictable. Pressing is a zonal defending mechanism. Because of the fact that it is zonal, it is wise to say that the positioning of every single player matters. Despite pressing being a sub-team tactical action, the positioning and movement of each player on the team is critical. Apart from the players that are closer to the ball, that are obviously pressing more actively, every player on the team simply has to move higher up the field and close in any gap to provide defensive cover and support in case the opposition breaks the press. Without collective effort, the opposition will find a gap and exploit it. That's a shortcut to conceding a goal. Everything starts from the keeper and ends with the attacking line. Take care of the foundation and the building won't fully collapse. In a high press, the margins of fail should be kept little to none. Using a high pressing strategy in football is effective, there is no doubt about that. However, players and coaches just need to be more aware of how they're going to pull off this mechanism when it's game time. Balance, teamwork, positioning, body language, running direction, and controlling the intensity of the press are the main principles of a high press. One strategy we use at FootXFit to gain even more clarity and achieve a deeper learning experience is we reverse engineer the problem-solving process. You basically learn how to apply an effective high press by understanding your opponent's strategy to break your press. Getting into the mind of your opponent and knowing every strength and weakness of their tactics is key. That's why I highly encourage you to check out our video on how a high press can be beaten by clicking on the top right corner, or simply read the article that's linked in the description. That's it for today's video, guys. I hope you liked it. If you did, please make sure to do all the boring stuff YouTubers ask for in order to support the channel and help us grow. Have a good one.